Welcome to the northern tip of San Francisco Bay and a gloriously warm Sears Point International Raceway for the American Le Mans Grand Prix of Sonoma.
In the GT class, it's a Teutonic civil war between Porsche and BMW. Let me set the grid for you. Here's the Dick Barber Porsche. It'll be started by Dirk Mueller of Monaco. It is on the pole for this class. Right next door is a BMW. That will be Boris said. Right next to Boris, yet another BMW from the same team. That'll be started by Brian Cunningham. And lastly, yet another Dick Barber car, the number 51 machine, and that'll be Bob Wallach. Now understand that Porsche has won the last 4 American Le Mans Series races. BMW has never been beaten at Sonoma. Wow, we're gonna have some fun with this class.
Steve Evans alluded to, these gentlemen and those Porsches and that BMW should be an absolutely great fight. And already, Derek, we see the pace car lights out. It doesn't go into pit lane here. It'll actually wrap around that turn 11, then just move over into the infield, correct? That's when we'll know we're going.
That's right. We have plenty of onboard cameras for you. We're going to show you just after the start line here. The GT fastest car was Mueller Lure Dick Barber's car. This should be a California freeway traffic jam.
Taking a look at the onboards, the number 7 BMW. That's the number 5 Porsche, of course, the pole sitter, the 92 Viper. Second in class 38 is Dorsey Schrader and James Weaver. 43 the BMW, and then the number 78 Audi outside the front row, and we are underway. 2 hours and 45 minutes, the Grand Prix of Sonoma, and McNish leads up the hill. But look at that, that's Brabham, and he obviously wanted to get by in a hurry.
Oh, did you see J.J. Leto with the BMW all over the curbs trying to get by one of the Panos cars?
Leto knows he wants to get to the front early in this one. They have got to get the job done. They just haven't been quite on the pace. Here's a good look at your leaders in GT. Now, there are but 3 cars in that class. That is the Vipers. Then we have our GTS, that Porsche right there. There are the 2 Barber cars. There is the number 7 BMW running in the GT division. And that car, started by Boris said, on board right now as he is giving chase to the 2 Barber machines.
BMWs have gone very well here. Dick Barber has won all this class, all the GT classes so far this year, and BMW never beaten here. Remember, Steve Evans alluded to that, told us that at the top of the show.
As a matter of fact, the last time they ran here on the very last lap, Hans Stuck stole the win away, really, from one of the Porsches. A great last lap pass. So I think the Porsche contingent as a whole feels there's a little bit that this track owes them here.
There's the Barber Porsche right there with Boris set right behind him.
Dirk Mueller has been absolutely the fastest of the Porsche drivers, has been on pole more often than not in that category, has been very impressive indeed. The car in front there is actually not one of the Barber cars. That is the 3rd car in GTS, the 08. That's the car started by Vic Rice from Rook Motorsports North America, the men's fitness and Yokohama Turbo.
Yeah, you caught a glimpse of, there it is right there, the field Sutherland. Lola had a terrible opening lap. He has dropped way, way back, now making his way past some of the GT cars.
Well, John Field, known for ultra-aggressive starts. Sometimes it works, sometimes he finds himself off the course, and he's got to make up some ground. I fear that's what's going to happen, but boy, you can see it takes very little time for those prototype cars to get by the GT and even the GTS machines. On the uphill now, heading into turn 2, and he's parked right now behind Mueller, and he's going to try and pull right here, I would suspect, try and get the blast down. There he goes, as they head up now into turn 3, 3A, and 4, top of the hill.
This is incredible elevation changes here. I mean, this is climbing up the side of a wall, then you plunge downhill again. Unbelievable elevation changes here at Sears Point. Just great, great road racing.
Flattens out right here, and then there's a huge and very abrupt rise right there, and then the drop into what they call the carousel, which is a long arcing 180-degree corner, and it just falls away all the way down to the bottom to the drag strip.
Extremely difficult to pass here. In fact, passes are made only by the very brave.
So continuing to watch that battle for the GT division lead.
and it currently is held by...
To be on the front row, and they remember the ring where they really got swallowed up by the competition as they took the green flag. They weren't about to let that happen here at Sears Point Raceway. They had a game plan. Seemed like they sacrificed Pirro a little bit off the start, and McNish really took off when they came out of a turn 11. Seems to be working so far, but traffic is really going to be a factor this afternoon.
It is a traffic jam down here at the hairpin. It is mighty stuff right now.
It's unreal. As a matter of fact, McNish's best lap so far, 3/10 quicker than anybody else. There's a look at the class-leading GT. That's the number 5 Barber Racing entry, driven by Dirk Mueller. And the car looking okay, but look at what happened a little bit earlier, Derek.
Now this is, he catches the GTS car, which is supposed to be faster. Down the inside, Vic Rice is in the number 08. He turns in, and Mueller has to clip the inside of the curve. I hope he didn't do any damage.
Well, right before we went to that replay, we had a good look at the left side of that car. I didn't see any damage, and spin the tires. That can be very tough on drive lights.
And a major key to going fast here at Sears Point is the apexes are very often blind. You can't see them at the time you have to commit yourself to high speed and to being on the power. That's why local knowledge really is a big benefit here quite often.
I can show you a battle that's starting to build in the GT division, as was anticipated. There's number 5. That's the Barber Racing entry. Dirk Mueller coming up and chasing and wanting to put a lap on one of the cars in that class, the 67. That's the Scient entry from the Racers Group. But right behind that BMW, that is the number 7 entry of Boris Said. We're on board now with Boris, and that's the battle for the lead in GT right now. It's that close. Traffic affecting it a little bit, but these BMWs, this team was waiting for this track because they said, one, this is the kind of track the BMW loves. Very, very busy at transitions, corners. We're going to go back now to that GT battle. We're on board with Boris Said. Here's one of the Panos cars working through. Right there is the Barber Porsche that Said is chasing, as there goes Brabham working through, currently 3rd overall in the Panos. And here's Boris Said in full attack mode as he is chasing down, or trying to chase down, Dirk Mueller as they now drop down into that carousel.
And it's probably fair to say, Greg, this will be the battle of the afternoon here, the GT class. There's not enough cars running strongly in the GTS class. The Audis look like they may dominate the P class, but this here is the fight we all expected, and Steve alluded to this at the top of the show. The Porsche and the BMW are so strong here and so evenly matched.
Now, one of the things to really watch, take a look. This is what Boris Said down in the footwell, the footwork he's going to be utilizing. Now, there's an upshift as they're starting to work through those S's, another upshift. But we're going to really watch for a little dab on the brake. It's through turn 10 and into 11, Derek, where he gets real busy.
Yeah, but look what he does with his left foot. He spends most of the time bracing himself in the car, hard against the footrest on the left-hand side.
Now, here he goes hard to throttle. That's out of turn 10. Now, watch the footwork as he heads down
left foot brakes and right foot brakes. Wow, so Boris taps it with the left and then brakes with the right. Look, getting ready again. Happened so fast. Great camera shot here of the footwell. Now back to brace himself with the left foot. Going up the hill here, remember. Right foot braker, heel toe. Look the way he rolls the foot off the brake pedal onto the power, rev the engine, synchronize the gear change. He will do that hundreds and hundreds of times this afternoon and still maybe not catch the Porsche that's only half a car length ahead of him.
And that Porsche just locked up the right front, so Boris is applying immense pressure as he's chasing that Porsche right now. And again, the ballet continues, and it really is. I mean, yeah, we're just looking at the feet, not what the hands are doing as he's working the wheel and shifting. It is an absolute science and art and ballet inside these cars to make them go quick. And he got a great run down the carousel, and into 7 is one of the great overtaking areas.
One of the classic battles for years and years and years, Porsche versus BMW on the racetrack.
And what a study in engines, too. That Porsche, that flat 6, the classic engine, and then the inline 6 of the BMW.
Couldn't be more different. Dick Barber, almost 20 years away from racing, then builds this team for this year. Probably, I mean, many people would argue it's the most professionally run team in the paddock here. Everything is spotless, everything is brand new. Dick Barber has had lines of people want to shake his hand here all weekend long because he is so popular here in Northern California.
There we go. But Boris had a little bit tighter exit out of that hairpin, didn't he? He got down and straight lined and got the throttle pretty good here. And he is chasing again, and there goes. That's O'Connell now going by back in the fourth spot. And, oh, look at the traffic jam. And where's a wrecker on track here at the top of the hill?
The BMW.
Yeah, number 10. It's the number 10 entry.
Brian Cunningham is behind the wheel. Oh, white
That's
flag.
the white flag.
Okay.
That just means there's an emergency vehicle on track. That's what the white flag means in road racing here. But Brian Cunningham, whatever it is terminal. It doesn't look like he got in. I don't see any damage on the car, Derek.
No.
Oh, maybe mechanical just pulled off. This and the 7 car are the 2 newest cars in the prototype technology group camp, and they've done a lot of work on the engine internals, a lot of work on suspension, and maybe something just let go.
Tom Milner runs these cars. You can see lots of
Tire management. We are slowly sneaking up. We're real close to the 5 car now, so the pit stop will have something to do with a good pit stop. I think we have as good a chance as we've had so far.
That's the 10 car running. I understand Brian may be having some problems.
Yes, I think that sounds like we broke either a CD joint or a half shaft on the 10 car.
Okay, well, we've got 3 cars on this team. Hopefully one of them can bring it home for BMW today.
Well, that's exactly what we were talking about. And when he said if you change the car to make it easier to steer, it sometimes affects the handling.
No, it absolutely affects the handling. And remember now, his arms are aching yesterday. The practice sessions are only about an hour long, and you stop and start and have plenty of time to rest. This is going to be a 2-hour run here.
The American Le Mans Grand Prix of Sonoma is brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
And we are on board with Bill Oberlin in the number 43 Le Mans prototype BMW as he's scrapping right now. He's in 7th, and up front still is number 6. That's Stefan Johansson and Johansson Matthews, Reynard Judd. And that's the view he's been experiencing for an awful lot of this race, trying anything to come through, going by one of the GTS cars, and he continues to work the chase right now. You know, the BMWs, it's been an interesting season as, again, there's traffic working through here at the great track here and dropping down into the carousel. But it's been an interesting season. Has turned the wick up. There's more traffic in front. They're working the S's.
Here's the problem. The high-speed S's, if you have to back off right there, Brabham gets the run. Here he goes. Yes, he got second.
Boy, he went by him like he was parked, and that's because Pirro was. He lifted big time when he ran up on that BMW, and Brabham timed that beautifully.
The timing was perfect to take advantage of traffic.
Emanuele Pirro is in the lead.
Yes, he is, but David Brabham could not stay in the car. They put Magnussen into that car, so that gives you an idea of the physical effort to drive that thing. The Panos drivers could not double stint.
On board now with Boris Said, and he is all over the back of the leader in GT. That's the Dick Barber car right in front. And they are working some lap traffic in their class. And now joining the mix is the overall race leader, Emanuele Pirro, right there. Just got by. Now going to dive down the inside of Dirk Mueller in the number 5 Barber Porsche. And that expands that gap out just a little bit. But once again, those 2 GT cars running that close as they have been, Derek, for the better part of this first hour of this race.
Oh, how good is this here? I mean, this is as good as it gets in the GT class here. Porsche versus BMW, and there is not more than a car length that separates these 2 boys.
That's through turn 7 now, starting to bend up and onto those long S's, the famous, or to some infamous S's here at Sears Point. We're on board with Boris Said, and he's trying to work something here, hoping that car up front, that I believe is one of Alex. The driver's eyes. And a wink from Hans Stuck. You got it like that. There's the number 91 Viper from Team Arica, the car that was leading in the GTS. Following the doubleheader at Mid-Ohio, the next stop on the AMA Superbike schedule is coming up next week from Brainerd International Raceway in Minnesota. Nicky Hayden and Matt Mladen continue their championship battle in Brainerd Saturday, July 30th at 3 p.m. live on Speed Vision. If you're into bike racing, you're going to be on board and watching from Brainerd, Minnesota. We're on board right now with Boris Said, and he is now, Derek, applying unbelievable pressure on Dirk Mueller up front in that GT leading number 5 car. Now here comes, I think that's Hiroki Kato tornado who was going to sweep through and mess things up a little bit. But on a clear track now, Boris is able to run down and pressure the number 5 Barber Porsche.
And he has been all over the back of that 911. Boris said is just doing yeoman service here with this BMW. But this has been the fight all afternoon. This is where the real competitive race is here between BMW and Porsche. This may be settled in the pit lane if Boris said can't squeak away past.
There's a good look at Boris, and I asked Boris once, I said, what's a good season for you? And he said, driving 365 days a year. And he drives anything and everything he drives. He's unbelievably adept and quick in. Now he's got one of the BMW's prototypes that's coming up serious speed. Actually, that's Dorsey Schrader now on board the number 38.
There's our Dorsey. Dorsey Schrader takes over from James Weaver. Glorified test session, broke a tooth during practice, or during practice, clenched his teeth so hard
underneath. And I think Boris said there was another car up in front of that Barber Porsche, and Boris had a run on him, and then Dorsey came steaming up through everybody. Yeah, that's got to be just frustrating in the extreme for drivers of that capability.
Right behind the battle here, that's Boris said. Boris said cannot move over very much now because he's embroiled in the fight with a Porsche.
Did he just stop? Boy, it looked for a minute like he just absolutely stopped to let that car go through, and it cost him some time.
Now Mueller's got to move over.
And he sweeps around Mueller, so Gunan has slipped through. And he's certainly not going to hold them up. But now look at, here comes Kato as he's coming up through, and that could actually affect, yes it does, the Barber car. Slowed him up on turn, and Boris said now all over him. And he just worked through that lead battle in the GT division. Right behind the Viper is the number 5 of Dirk Mueller, the Barber Porsche, and the number 7, that's the Prototype Technology Group BMW in the hands of Boris Said. And 2 distinctly different lines through the hairpin. A lot more of an arcing flow through the corner that Mueller's using, and Boris almost squares the corner, and I don't know that it really benefits either. It must be what the car is comfortable with right now.
Remember, Boris Said's teammate is Hans Stuck. Remember what happened last year here with Hans Stuck? And he is dynamite in these BMW M3s. So Boris Said knows that he's going to turn over to Hans Stuck, and they may just make one fuel stop. There may be only one pit stop here for these GT cars.
Well, right now Boris has taken up where he left off earlier when those other cars came lapping through, as he continues to apply immense pressure here. And he continually shows his nose right there to the inside, going down into that carousel. And he's trying to tuck inside this time. He got to run this time. And, well, I don't know. I think the Porsche a little bit more grunt right there. Boris shows the nose to the inside again, but he's just too far back at that section here. But now he gets out of turn 7, and through these sweeps, Boris has been able to really hustle that BMW, and he gets through turn 10 very well. He's actually taken a run a couple of times at Mueller going in, and we've watched into turn 11, and we watched Mueller actually move to the middle of the track to defend. Although this time Mueller looks like he's got a pretty clean run through there. Here's turn 10, and Boris, yeah, not quite quick enough.
And I don't think there's any marks on that Porsche from that BMW, not even a little lug tap down in the hairpins. So they have played this absolutely clean. But a measure of how hard they're driving is you can see the Porsche get on opposite lock almost in all these low-speed corners. So this is a fight also for the number 5 car of Mueller.
So that battle certainly continues in the GT division, and we watch Boris Said, a little different line. He closes up there. They didn't expect to do well, and they have been doing brilliantly. And Steve Evans, though, second place in GT is in.
Absolutely. We wondered at the top of the show if the BMW could match fuel mileage with Porsche, and apparently not. This is Boris Said coming out of the car, Hans Stuck going in. It takes a while to change drivers here because of their size. I mean, I'm 6'2", and look up to both of these guys. So the Bavarian battler, Hans Stuck, goes in the Yokohama tire BMW M3. There's tires standing by. I believe they're going to go on, but as we've explained before, fueling has to be complete before anything mechanical can happen. You can do driver, that's it. And it's painfully slow. These things hold just under 100 liters of fuel, 99 to be exact. It takes a while. It's gravity-fed high. Now, the disconnected, the car goes up. They will get The car will get new rubber on all 4 corners and send Hans Stuck out to try to chase down those Porsches. But I'll tell you what, a huge advantage now for the Porsche as they're still out there as the BMW gets fuel. Not good.
Interesting how they go about the changes. They loosen up a lug, then go to the front wheel on that side while somebody else changes it up. They only are allowed 2 guns, and everybody seems to have their own theory on how it works. Now, as we watch that car leave pit lane, Hans Stuck on board.
Gave team owner Tom Miller came over and gave Boris a big pat on the back, and he doesn't even like race car drivers. You must be doing something right today on a very tough circuit.
Yeah, I mean, BMW has been working really hard on this new E46, and wait till the consumers see this car in the showroom in September. It's the ultimate drive machine, and on track with all these corners. Now we got Yokohama tires. We pretty much had them at the end, but we're just playing smart and plowing them for now, and we'll let Hans clean up. It's a big day for the team. Everyone at Yokohama, Flextronics. Pretty happy today. It's fun.
Go find the golf course.
All right.
That's Boris's second love.
He's doing a brilliant job in the Aspen Knolls entry. Was second at the time of the number 5 stop. May have slipped momentarily into the lead.
There
is your number 7, and that is Hans Stuck. And Stucky now is in full attack mode here as we continue past the halfway point at the American Le Mans Grand Prix of Sonoma here at Sears Point.
The American Le Mans Grand Prix of Sonoma is brought to you by Porsche, who wish to remind you there is no substitute.
At Sears Point, and here it is, and that's Hans Stuck, and that is the number 5 of Lucas Luhr. And Stuck tried the outside, now he's going to look inside, trying to get around the Viper. He's got the lap car, one of the cranium machines right in front as well. And boy, gets a little bit of a breather there for Lucas Luhr, but it took Stuck no time at all to catch that car. But of course, Stuck had 1 lap of warmer tires,
he did.
And he made the most of it.
That is an advantage, a definite advantage, but this Porsche has held off the BMW for more than half the race. It has been a mighty struggle.
And they're Stuck now, coming up into turn 10 around the outside, finally gets by that lap car. But you can see already the margin that Luhr has opened up. Here comes a brace of prototypes. That's going to affect things a little bit as well. But right now, after a tremendous opening stint, especially in terms of pressure, Dirk Mueller is with Calvin.
Dirk, a great opening stint, but Boris was really putting the pressure on, and now it looks like your team is going to have to go up against Stucky out there.
Oh yeah, and you can see I just got out of the sauna. It got so hot inside the car, and I tried to be gentle in the beginning to save our tires a bit, and even with that I pulled away. But then with the traffic, Boris came closer and closer, and actually I really thank him, because he got several chances to hit me, and to be unfair, but he was so fair. Really appreciate this. It was fun being outside, and I've never had our 25 minutes fight. This was my first time, and I'm really happy that I got it. But now we have 1 hour and 20 minutes left, so
it's like a clean battle. But you were running on almost qualifying times, 1:37s. You qualified at 36. You were really flat out.
Yeah, man. I couldn't have done any quicker laps, and I nearly was at the edge at every turn. I nearly lost my car everywhere. So thanks for the mechanics. They really bring me or gave me a good car.
This whole team, guys, are going to be biting their nails, see if they can score their 5th victory of the season.
Barber Porsche, a big margin over Hans Stuck. That margin has expanded out because Stuck's momentum got just rattled with some of the prototypes knifing past. Now he's got to get his head down again and go after it, and he still has that lap Porsche that he's got to get by right there. That's the Westward Ho Casinos number 30 entry, and he's also obviously hoping that that Viper up front that's taking a run right now, young Lucas Luhr, and trying to put him a lap down, that Viper will mess up the momentum of the number 5 machine. Now let's go back down to the pits. Problems for the Aspen Knolls entry, Steve. And here's the battle again. That's the number 5 car, and it's coming up on slower traffic, and one of those is the team car. That maroon BMW is the team car to Stuck. Right there is Hans Stuck in the BMW, and he dropped quite a bit back, and now he's coming back up again. And number 6, that's Johannes van Overbeek, he is not necessarily going to make things all that easy here. As a matter of fact, he's in his own race, and that's going to bottle up Lucas Luhr.
And Lucas Luhr has done a good job here to stay ahead of Hans Stuck. In fact, he pulled away. Is that the Aspen Knowles car? Yep. Right ahead of them. We saw them. That Kurt Wagner behind the wheel had that wheel problem. They are in... Ooh, they're in the same class. I'm sure he's going to move up. Maybe he won't.
This is going to be interesting here, and let's watch for it. Oh, I see a yellow flag there as well. That's where Kato's off, so you cannot pass in this area of track, and that's why. There's the wrecker hauling Kato's car off track.
Look at this. Look at this. Braking zone for turn 11. Lucas Luhr is on oversteer when he exits these corners, and Hans Stuck is coming down the inside, and the leader is in the middle of the mix.
And right when Stuck thought, maybe I've got the run here, I can do something with it, the prototypes come whistling up through and disrupt everybody's rhythm. Like I said, it's not just the prototypes getting slowed by slower traffic. They can affect battles for the GT category as well. We've seen it again. And look, Stuck was all over him there.
And now the GTS car is in the middle of it. The number 92 car, I believe, that is also in the middle of the mix.
That's the 91, actually, the car that had the off in the hands now of Olivier Beretta, running second in that category. Due to that off now, it is the Tommy Archer team car, number 92 up front. Finally now, the number 7 of Stuck, the Prototype Technology Group, Yokohama BMW, gets underneath the Aspen Knowles entry, then gets swarmed by Puro in the second place Audi. But look at, again, the margin he has lost after making that all up to Lucas Luhr.
Yeah, and Boris said is in the pit lane watching what goes on here. He had a great stint at the start in his number 7 BMW and got out and said he's now going to leave it to Stuck to clean up. Well, he's got a job on his hands here to catch Lucas Luhr first and then to try and pass him.
Good look there at Hans Stuck inside the cockpit, the blue helmet with the white stars. And he is, well, he's made that up again pretty quickly, hasn't he? He's just kind of stayed right with the Viper, and they're running down that number 5 Barber Porsche.
The Dick Barber Porsche has been incredibly successful. They've won all the GT classes in the American Le Mans Series so far. They initially won their class at the Le Mans 24-hour race, and then, unfortunately, they were disqualified for a discrepancy in the fuel tank. That was a genuine oversight, but that was a major blow to Dick Barber himself.
Testament to the professionalism of that team, Derek, as they rebounded with their 4th straight class win in the American Le Mans Series at the European race at the Nürburgring. This team does not give up easily. We'll be right back. Solve that problem as well.
And in fact, Audi is putting on a superb demonstration here, and of course we welcome to our booth here a very special guest, a man who seems to join us when these cars do so well, the VP of Audi North America, Mr. Len Hunt. Len, you have another big smile on your face as you watch this demonstration here.
Because of the tight, twisty circuit, you know, the cars are more suited to the fast. The aerodynamics really come into play, and with the, you know, the V10s, the V12s, we really thought we were up against it. But the cars are just going absolutely magnificently. And Alan's just done one of the most remarkable stints I think I've ever seen him do, and the lap record, of course, for us as well. So yeah, it's great. It's really nice to see him, especially after the Nürburgring.
When you watch a race like this, Len, and there's so much traffic, I mean, are you on tenterhooks like we are when you think of what might happen?
This is the problem. Just one driver, maybe, just, you know, for no malicious reason, just doesn't see somebody coming through. The speed differences are so great coming into a corner, and you really are. You're thinking, oh my goodness me, because there's so much at stake with the championship now between ourselves, particularly with BMW, and really good old Dom Panos, you know, and did what he did in the Nürburgring to take that trophy away from the 2 big German contenders with quite a feat.
Len, is this a weekend of enjoyment for you, or is it a work week? I mean, do you have a lot of people here that you entertain?
Absolutely, weekend of work, but it's always mixing work with pleasure. But yeah, we got all our dealers, we've got a lot of dealer council members, so it's a great weekend for them to come and see Audi in true dominant form. And yeah, they're all having a great time up on the hill there.
with your success at Le Mans, I mean, we asked you this before, does that mean you come back and do it again to stamp your authority on the event again?
I tell you, for me, the thing about this kind of series, this kind of racing, is the long term. You don't just come in and win Le Mans and go home. You've got to be at it. It's part of your market. It's part of what you are, and you just need to keep investing for the long term. So no final decisions yet, but, you know, we're pushing as hard as we can.
Lan, thanks for taking the time to come and join us. I know we have a great time watching the Audi progress, the technology that you display in your cars on the racetrack. I know you're proud of. It brings a smile on your face, and it gives us tremendous enjoyment.
Thanks for the coverage, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, well done. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Len. And again, I think he will agree too that having a partner in the form of a guy named Reinhold Jost doesn't exactly do your program much harm. As Calvin alluded to, Jost out around the track watching what these cars are doing, solving the problems.